And by the end of the month, I had over $1,000 in gross sales. Just, I was completely blown away.
Right. Hello, everyone. I'm here with Genell Ford. Hello. Of Specially Inked. So I invited Genell on to talk about her calligraphy journey and how her very first official kind of product launch went for her as a kind of budding calligraphy business with like a little bit of there's some years there. So I wanted to, to invite Genell to share her story just so you can kind of just see how it might go for you and what the possibilities are. Genell took my Modern Calligraphy 201 course in like February 2021, right? You
Yeah.
said? Okay.
Yeah.
And then she just recently November 2023
Right.
did her first product launch. So
Yes.
we're going to get into all that and what it was and how it was blow out of the water like unexpected. But let's kind of start with, okay, how did you get into calligraphy in the first place?
Okay. Well, I've always been told that I have really nice handwriting, and I always thought, like, okay, that's nice. But what can you really do with that? So I came across calligraphy and I was very intrigued by the thought of it. And I
Uh-huh.
finally took a brush lettering class back in 2018 and really loved it, but didn't necessarily do anything past that. I always
Okay.
thought, like, okay, like this was really cool. I can see it, but I never really took that next step
Yeah.
to even like foster that creativity or that the peak of that interest.
Oh, okay. So it's just a
Mhm.
little bit like a blip. And you're
Exactly.
like, that's just something I did one time.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So how did it come back around again in 2021?
Well, it actually started in 2020, the pandemic. So
Uh,
we're all home and there's really not much you can do outside. So I thought like, wow, like I did that brush lettering class a couple years ago. Let me just pick it up again to see how it would go.
mhm.
And I would pick it up here and there, but there was never really any structure to it. And towards the end of the year, I found this self-paced course online and I started taking it, but I knew I needed accountability. So I actually started posting on my close friends on Instagram, just like, hey guys, I'm just gonna start posting this. I know you know nothing about this, but I just need accountability. So
Mhm.
I would do drills and practice and then post them each day. And then the more I started doing it, the more I liked it. And I started doing words and I would send them, hey, ask them like, hey guys, send me songs that you like so I can write lyrics. Just anything that I could practice.
Yeah.
And in 2021, I'm like, okay, I've got the basics down, but I really need structure. And that's what brought me to 201.
Okay. Okay, I like this story. I'm pulling like a
Mhm.
lot of little nuggets out of this story that like I love how you got creative and like just turned to your friends for accountability. That's what
Exactly.
yeah, that's what I'm always telling people. Like, even if you can't, if it's not the right time for you to do like a full-on structured course, get scrappy, yo. Like, use
Right.
your personal networks. Just like if your friends are kind of cheering you on and you got that little hit each day, like, oh, what am I gonna post today that I've like practiced?
Exactly.
That
And
makes
it
it
was
fun.
fun just to get
Yeah.
them involved. And even when they started sending me songs to do lyrics to, it was just kind of fun to just put it out there. There was no pressure. It's just, hey,
Yeah.
I want to do this. Can you guys help me out? And
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I'm glad I did it that way to just start building my confidence.
Okay, I was gonna say, now that we're in 2023 and you've had this amazing launch, which we're gonna get into, I'm like, you were marketing the whole time. You just didn't know it. You were like
Exactly.
just telling your friends in a very fun, spontaneous, like no strings attached way, hey, I'm
Mhm.
into this. I like it. Help me out, and then of
Right.
course that made your friends aware of what you were doing. Okay, all right. So good lessons all around. So how was Modern Calligraphy 201? I want to point out, you guys, that Genell she does brush pens. She doesn't do pointed pen. Brush pens are her jam, and that hasn't stopped her. So tell me how 201 was.
I loved it. Like I said, I really needed the structure, and that's exactly what it gave me. You're getting live feedback, which was invaluable for me
Hmm.
because I really needed someone to tell me, like, hey, I see you're going in the right direction, but if you just add this one thing, it could change. For
Yeah.
instance, my like lead-in flourishes were a little short. So one of the instructors, I think it might have been Nicole,
Yeah.
told me, like, hey, lengthen that a little bit. And I did it, and it completely changed the way that it looked. So I loved 201. It really just kind of helped me to find my own style. I have this more like bouncy style.
Yeah.
And you know, you learn that it's okay. Not everyone's style is going to look the same. We all take
Mhm.
the same class, but you look at all the students who post their work, and everyone's work looks completely different because we all have our own sort of style. So
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. And I love also that lesson that like you might just be a little tweak away
Exactly.
from up like kind of reaching a new level. It's not that you have to
Mhm.
reinvent everything. It's like, oh, let's look at these tiny little details right here. That's why it's
Exactly.
great. Yeah. To get outside feedback. Okay, so then you took that in 2021. What have you been doing since then? Did you have any thoughts of like, I'm gonna make this a business or I'm gonna like do something with this?
Actually, I did. So 2021, I just got this burst of energy from 201. And the first thing I did was actually my friend got married the previous year. So I decided to write her wedding vows,
Oh,
did it, and it was such a great experience. I don't know if I'd ever do it again because it's so
oh
much,
yeah. Mm.
but it just kind of ignited this spark in me like, hey, like you actually are creative. But prior to this, I never would have considered myself a creative person
Oh, tell me more
because
about that.
I always associated creativity with people who can draw, you know, like some type of art.
Hmm.
But learning calligraphy, like it really just kind of opened up this world of, hey, like you actually are creative. You can design things. So I started doing custom commissions. I did that in 2021. I designed and sold my own greeting cards. All of that happened in 2021. I found
Okay.
this like bigger and was very excited. But when it came to really creating the business, that's where I got stuck. And it
Okay.
just felt very overwhelming. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Entrepreneurship is not something that was necessarily in my family growing up. So I didn't necessarily have a model, and I just felt extremely overwhelmed. So
Mm.
it just kind of shut me down creatively, and also just thinking that I could make this into a business.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh man, that is such a familiar story.
Yeah.
Where you're like when you start out, it's like there's so much possibility. I'm like, I could do anything. And then the
Exactly.
more you know, you're like, oh wait.
Right. Like, never mind. Maybe I can.
Yeah, so there's actually a scientific term for that, the Dunning-Kruger curve. I don't know if you've seen that, where like
No.
when you first start out with something, you have like all this confidence, but you're not actually that great. You just don't know. Like you're just
Hmm.
like, oh, I could do anything, anything. And then the more you know, your confidence kind of goes down because you're looking around and you're saying, oh, maybe business is supposed to be this way, and that person over there is doing that, and like
Yes.
maybe I'm not charging enough, and your confidence goes down and down and down until you hit this low point. And a lot of people give up there because it
Hmm.
just becomes like you have to have something to kind of get you through that.
Something to get you over that hump. Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
like you always say about the calligraphy bubble, and that's what I had put myself in. By
Mm,
the end of that year, you know, I'm following all these great calligraphers, everyone's work is so great, and then I get to the point where, okay, well, maybe this is for me too, but when I start trying to put it all together, it's just so overwhelming.
yeah. Okay,
Mhm.
so what happened after that?
I like I did not do anything and actually did not pick my brush pen up again until, like, 2023.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I really, like, just stepped back from everything, and the thing that got me started again was just a baby shower, believe it
Okay.
I was going to a baby shower and, you know, the envelope, I wanted to write the names of the parents to be, and I thought, "Let me just pick up my brush pen and do that," and that reignited my passion again, just that
Okay.
small thing,
Yeah.
and it kind of, led me back to, "Oh, you are creative," and I
Mm,
just started finding ways to tie it in more and more and more.
yeah.
You know, it was Teachers Appreciation Week at my daughter's school one week, so I wrote her teachers' names on the bags.
Oh.
Just, you know, those small moments of
Yeah.
creativity that really led me to then getting the calligraphy, starter guide, and
Yeah, the
then
business starter guide.
exactly, and then launching the ornaments.
Okay. All right. Um, those little moments of like daily calligraphy, that's kind of what gets me because it works into your life.
Yes,
It's not
yeah,
like you're doing it completely separately. You're like, I was gonna give these teachers gifts anyway. I might as well just
mhm,
like jazz it up a little bit and make it special.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, very cool. So you picked up the calligraphy business starter guide course, and then you just you dove into the launch boot camp, right?
I did.
For people who don't know, I like last month, we're recording this in December 2023. So I think it was in October 2023 where I
Yeah, right
decided
there.
to add, yeah, where I decided to add on like a whole new, it's basically like a course within the course where it's this whole boot camp that's supposed to walk you through the exact steps that it takes to launch a product out into the world. And it's like everything from how to choose your product, how to photograph it, how to price it, where to actually put it up, and how to collect the money. So Genell, you just kind of, I saw you on the Q&A sessions, and like you were just in that. Okay, so tell us how that experience was.
It was exactly what I needed because prior to that, I knew I wanted to jump back in, but I didn't know how.
Mm.
And going through the boot camp just really helped me to just not worry about things being perfect. I am a person of structure and process. I want to know A to Z, Z to A. I need to know everything before I get started.
Your bookcase behind you is so organized. I just gotta say,
Yeah, see,
your
yes,
environment.
I'm a very structured person. So for me, having the boot camp and you just telling us like, hey, I'm going to take you through each day, which I really loved how it was broken down day by day. We're going to focus on your product, focus on your pricing, focus on your photos. Every day had something to it.
Mhm.
But just being able to have that structure, but you also telling us it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to go out and create your business. Just get something done and put it out there and see what happens. And I am completely blown away by how it turned out for me because
Yeah.
just that one spark of, hey, just do it, see what happens,
Mhm.
has shown me that, okay, like I can actually do this. This is
Yeah.
something that I can actually get done.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting into the results now that
Mhm.
I've been hinting at the whole time. So tell us first like what it is that you ended up selling, and if you don't mind sharing like what you priced it at.
Yeah. So I actually sold ornaments. I would customize ornaments. And I had two pricing tiers. So there were certain ornaments where there was already a predetermined phrase. Guess you can
Mm.
consider it like the Ford family or the Jones family. I would do baby's first Christmas or home sweet home. Anything that I used actually for my product photos, any of those, because I'd already figured out how it fits on the ornament. Doesn't really take you as much to do that. So I
Yeah.
priced those at $22. And then for $25, I would do a custom phrase up to 4 words. So you could choose anything that you wanted, and then I would do that. Price it a little higher because I do have to kind of figure out how it goes on the ornament and kind of what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I priced it there, and at this point, I actually launched on November 10th, and by the end of the month, I had over $1,000 in gross sales. Just I was completely blown away by how much support that I got. Like people were just buying them, buying multiples, buying them as gifts for their own tree. And I had a lot of fun doing it as well, which
Hmm.
was also really cool. Just it didn't feel like much pressure because I was just putting this out to see what would happen and just
Yeah.
launch something. Yeah, it went well above my expectations.
Damn. Over
Yeah,
$1,000 in gross sales, y'all. And let me be clear, that's gross sales.
yes.
So we still have to, factor out expenses, cost of materials, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But that's pretty damn amazing. Okay. And
Yeah.
now, as you're telling me your story, because, of course, I've been watching your results. We have like a Facebook group
Mhm.
for our students, and I've been checking in and like, just seeing how people are doing. It's been really fun for me too. And I've been seeing your results and going, dang, man, that's really cool. But now I'm hearing your story and how like you've been sharing about this, about your
Yeah.
brush calligraphy with your friends for
Mhm.
years, and how like you did start out and do some stuff, and like you've clearly built up support
Right.
from,
Exactly.
yeah.
And people responded. And we always talk about how it's icky to market, and you're like, oh, I don't really want to do this.
Uh-huh.
But I just put it out there and I followed the launch process that you gave us, like, hey, do a little teaser. And I actually rebranded before I launched my ornaments. So it was just kind of like
Okay.
this whole big thing. I started out in 2021 as signed Genell on Instagram, which was,
Mm.
just to kind of get something out there.
Yeah.
Once I launched my ornaments, I kind of wanted this to feel like a business. already kind of putting my mindset out there. And you've always told us to kind of think about, what do you want your business to feel like? What feelings or emotions do you want it to evoke? So I
Mhm.
thought about all of that through this boot camp, and yeah, I'm just so happy and very
Yeah.
pleased with how it turned out.
That's awesome. I gotta say, you're like Janelle did such a good job with just making the prototypes, photographing them, the styling. It all gives off, and you say your style is quite bouncy and fun.
Mhm.
But it's still the way you photographed it all. It was all like very polished, professional, but not so serious that it's, got to be taken like it like
Yeah,
has that fun element to it. I think you did just like
exactly.
a fabulous job.
And I never knew how hard it'd be to take pictures of
Of
these
clear
acrylic
ornaments.
paintings. Yes, my reflections in them.
Yeah.
Does this look right? So it took me forever to get pictures I wanted, but I'm really
Yeah.
happy with how it turned out.
Yeah. And I gotta say, Janelle also made some she just did the launch boot camp really well. As in, like, okay, let's do a little imperfect, let's do it messy. I think we're going to take orders just kind of manually and message people. And then once, I did a little training on Etsy and she's like, nope, that sounds better.
Exactly.
I know there's fees, but this is just going to save my sanity and make it much easier to take orders. And she just made that decision.
And I'm so glad that I did it, because in 2021, I was taking those orders manually and
Mhm.
invoicing them through PayPal, which that process works. But I
Yeah.
knew for the ornaments, I did not want any barriers to entry.
Yeah.
I'd already I'm just trying to move anything out of my way that I can.
Hmm.
And I knew that having to process orders separately and invoice them and get payments, that's just one extra thing I have to do.
Yeah.
So looking at Etsy, it takes so much off of your plate. There are
Yeah.
fees, but the time that you get back really helps.
Yeah, and it helps your customer too. I mean,
It
speaking of
does.
removing barriers to order, they just click, click,
Mhm.
click, type in whatever phrase they need, and they can order it.
Exactly. And once you ship it, they get notifications
Yeah,
automatically. It's just such a seamless process.
yeah, yeah. That's an important lesson as well for
Mhm.
if you're going to ship out any kind of products. Well, very, very cool. I can't like, do you have any thoughts for like what you want to do next, where you want this to go?
Actually, 2024, I'm looking to do events, trying to do place cards and envelope addressing, and then hopefully getting into wedding signage. I just kind of want to build as I go. And
Yeah,
I think I'm closer than ever to actually making this the side hustle that I want it to be, because of the boot camp. Because
yeah.
I was able to just put my fear aside, put any excuses aside, really, and just try it. I think this is it's pushing me even closer than I've been
That's
before.
that's amazing. So would you say the investment in 201 and the Biz Starter Guide were worth it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially for 201, just to help me find my style.
Mhm.
And then for the boot camp, just everything just kind of works together to help you to feel confident to just go out there and launch something.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh, I could just see you do really well in wedding signage,
I am so excited
especially.
to try that out and just have fun with it and just see what the
Yeah,
possibilities are. And I
yeah.
think this go around, just not putting pressure on myself for it to be perfect.
Mm,
That's probably the top lesson that I got from the boot camp. It's just, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can learn along the way. You can regroup,
yeah,
try something, it doesn't work, try something else. That's really the biggest lesson.
yeah. Isn't that crazy how our brains work? Our brains are telling us like it's got to be perfect or it's not going to work. And then because of that, we stop working on it.
Hmm.
And it doesn't
Yeah,
work. And it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's
it is.
nuts. They're just trying their best up there for a little
Hmm.
like monkey brains. Well, that's amazing. I'm so excited for you. Janelle is at Specially Inked on Instagram. All one word.
Yes.
I'm not gonna try it. Y'all can spell it.
Start typing it in. It'll
Saying
come
the
up.
spelling, I know saying the spelling over like verbally is just always such a nobody's following this. But anyway, Specially Inked, all one word on Instagram. Go check her out. And
Yeah.
I just want to like for everybody out there who's like Janelle again did all of this with brush pen calligraphy because that's what she jives with and that's what she wants to use. And you can totally use brush pen calligraphy for ornaments, for wedding signage, for like all kinds of things. So for any of you who like pointed pen or whatever, the tool itself is standing in the way, it's just another form of perfectionism.
That's true. Yeah.
Go with what works for you. There's like so much possibility out there.
Right.
Cool. Thank you so much, Janelle, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you
very
for
excited
having
for
me.
you. Yeah.
I'm I can't thank you enough for all the resources you put out, the time that you spend helping us. It just really helps so much.